Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is Ira Fuchs.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hi, this is Shifra Penkower,
Nice
Dr. Naomi Zaidel. Pleasure to meet you, Ira.
Excellent. Thank you for doing this.
Hi, Ira. This is Dale. I'm playing Martin Weiss.
Thank you, Dale. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Hi, Ira. I'm Evan. I'm playing the Ghost of Musker, and I'm Joseph Seidel.
Nice to meet you as well. I hope everybody is healthy and staying safe.
Amen. Same to you.
Hello?
Hey, Monica.
Yedidia? I don't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you did.
That's better.
There you
Hi, Susan.
I did.
I'm remuting myself.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, was that Zoom invite sent out already or? Well, okay, I don't know if other people were confused about it. I didn't seem to get it. I don't hear you. I think you're out again.
It was sent out earlier today. You just have to look. You
Okay.
got it.
Please mute yourselves and please shut off your videos for now. Thank
Okay.
you.
Should we mute ourselves? Did he say?
Yes, mute
Okay.
yourselves and shut off your videos, please. Thank you.
BC, do you approve of the background or is it too balagan?
It's fine. Thank you.
By mir bist du schön, please let me explain. By mir bist du schön means that you're grand. By mir bist du schön, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even so wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell how wonderful you are. I've tried to explain. Bei mir bist du schön, so kiss me and you'll understand.
Thank you for joining with us, Shoah. I grew up hearing stories from my Zadie and Bubby. My Zadie was able to escape the ghetto of his town and hide throughout the Holocaust, while my Bubby was sent to Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen, Marklev, and Theresienstadt from the years 1944 to 1945. They both passed away, but their stories live on through me. There are so many stories to tell, and tonight we have decided to tell the story of the Ponar Forest massacres that took place near Vilna. I grew up hearing stories from my Zadie and Bubby. My Zadie was able to escape the ghetto of his town and hide throughout the Holocaust. While my Bubby was second, sorry about. Okay. There we go. Technical difficulties. Okay. We all have our stories, and it is my honor to share this space with those around me to commemorate this evening to those that we lost in the fires, the gas chambers, the death marches, and to the guns. And to those we loved who endured such horrors that we can't even imagine. From Baruch.
A poem written by Smerka Kaczynski, a writer and poet in the Vilna ghetto. And he writes, Stiller, stiller, lohne schweigen, Quoren wachsen da. Stoppen sich verpflanzt die Sonne, grünen See zum Blau. Zu, es wird kein Weg zurück. Ist der Tag verstunden und mit ihm das Glück. Hush, let's be silent. There are graves that grow here, graves that our enemies have planted. There are paths that lead towards them, but none that lead away. Somewhere, our father has perished, and with him, our joy. Quiet, my child, do not weep, my beloved, for our tears are of no use. Our pain is beyond the senses of our enemies. The sea has its shore. Prisons also have their limits, but our anguish sees no gleam of hope.
This melody is dedicated to my father and his daughters, one of his daughters. Here are the paintings behind me of him. And he asked me as a young child to remember this. And through it, I believe he expressed what was not very easily to express in words. It's a nigun and doesn't even have a name. Nor does the daughter that he left. He didn't really speak about her, but he did sing, and this was one of his melodies.
ישראל אשר ben Moshe David Malka. In the camps, He was number 161395. To me, and my extended family, he was Uncle Isser Laufer. My youngest son is named for him. My great uncle, Zichrono Livracha, survived many camps. He had one brother that died in World War I, and his wife and son were murdered along with his other brother during the Shoah. Steven Spielberg interviewed him, and he was willing to talk about his history, as many are not, but I recall that in every picture that we took with him on a visit, he would make sure his sleeve was rolled up and his tattoo on his arm was clearly visible, kind of in your face to those hours that tried to wipe him and millions of other off the face of this earth. In January 1945, he was forced to march to Gleiwitz as the bombs were falling and the Russians were approaching. And at some point, they were put on open rail cars and to be evacuated from Gleiwitz. And Uncle Isser knew very well what those train travel things were like. And he positioned himself in the front right corner of the train car so that he'd have a clear way to jump off without being seen and to be at least protected from being pushed at from all sides. And he jumped. He jumped with two other people and dodged bullets, barely made it out, and he escaped into a forest, knowing full well that he was being chased. And he made it. He made it through the forest until he came out to a clearing, and he found fresh snow on the ground. And he did see a home in the distance where he hoped to find shelter, but the fresh snow he knew would give away his footprints. So even in the midst of that stress and terror, he turned around, looked at the forest, and he walked backwards to that farmhouse where, thank God, he was able to hide for 105 days until he was liberated by the Russians. And he, though he lost his family, he married my great aunt, Tante Hani. They never had children of their own, but all of the nieces and nephews and many generations after looked to them as the matriarch and patriarch. Unfortunately, as of 2 years ago, neither of them is with us, but I'm really glad that we are here to bear witness for them and for the millions like them. Thank you for coming.
Evan, you're muted. Please start over. Thank you.
In memory of all those killed in the Holocaust, we chant El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shofim Amrohim, Mesel Chayona, Tadei Hashchina, Malot Hiroshimot Hovrim, His Hakel Masivim, Nishmosh, Nishmine, Achinu, Hashem Sobishmo, Shergu, Shenishchatu, Shenechneku, Shenekru, Shenisrefu, Shenu, Eladim, Senim, Nashim, Korim, Mored Rachim, Shuseam, Anshei Emunah, Torah, Im Modim V'Chomim, הנהבים חיים בחייהם, ומותם לא נפרדו. בעל הרמים עשירים בסכנתך יולמים, וצרור החיים את נשמתם, וגן עדן תהא מנוחתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם. ינוחו בשלום על פזורי משכבתם, ותעמוד צדקתם לנו לכל ישראל, ולכל הנבטים לחירות לצדק ושלום, ונאמר אמן.
Amen. Now we're going to sing the national anthem of Israel, Tikva. If you can, please rise.
כל עוד בלבב פנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ולפת מזרח קדימה, עין לציון תויה, עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים.
Actors, please mute yourselves, turn off your videos, and now presenting Vilna by Ira Fuchs.
I was born in the city of Vilna in 1915 during World War I. Afterwards, in 1920, Russia, Poland, and Lithuania ultimately occupied and claimed Vilna. It was from Russia to Lithuania, to Poland, to Lithuania, to Poland, to Russia, and finally to Poland, where it remained until 1939. The Russians, the Poles, and the Lithuanians hated each other, and they all hated the Jews. There were 60,000 Jews in Vilna when I was born, and almost 80,000 20 years later. Nearly half the people in Vilna were Jews. For 3 centuries, Vilna was the Jewish cultural center of Eastern Europe. The theaters, recitals, libraries, newspapers, book houses, boxers, sports teams, sciences, social activists. When I was growing up, Vilna, dozens of synagogues, Jewish schools, hospitals, a major university, a modern hall society. Before I was 3, it was all gone. My name is Mordecai Bell. My friends called me Mark. I was the last person alive who knew firsthand what happened in the forests of Poland, just outside Vilna. And you need to know.
Victor Novicki, the customs officer of Vilna, sits behind a desk. Dr. Naomi Zaidel enters with Motke, age 11. Motke is carrying a small basket.
What do we have here? A handsome boy and an even more attractive mother, who I understand is a doctor as well. I had no idea that Zaidel was so fortunate. What is your name?
Motke does not answer. Naomi leans over and whispers encouragement.
Motke.
Thank you for your compliments, Pan Novicki.
Call me Victor, please. I was expecting your husband.
He is under the weather today.
I'm sorry to hear that. I enjoy his visits. We have a good lunch, we drink a little, talk about this and that. Will you and I be having lunch today?
Unfortunately, I have to return to the hospital as soon as possible.
That's too bad. So what is it that I can do for you today?
Naomi signals Motke.
This is for you.
Motke hands Novicki the basket.
From you, young man. Let's see. Soplika vodka, how generous. Would you like to try some?
No, thank you. That's for grown-ups.
Smart boy.
There is something else in the basket.
So there is. Gloves. Very luxurious. On my civil service salary, I cannot afford such finery.
There is a pair for your wife as well. I hope she likes them.
She will be extremely pleased.
The pleasure is ours. My husband requests that you review and approve these orders for gloves.
Naomi places a sheaf of papers on his desk.
These are from Lithuania and Russia, enemies of Poland.
We are no longer at war.
I will have to review these.
We can't wait that long.
Well, I will make an exception for your husband since he is under the weather. Tell him to come see me early next week.
He can. He's in the hospital. He was attacked and beaten.
I see. Did he do something inappropriate?
He was walking in the street.
Did anyone see who did it?
Yes. My son was with him. They were officers of the Polish army.
He must be mistaken. Officers would never behave that way.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe they were ordinary soldiers. Nevertheless, he will be unable to meet with you next week, given his condition. So with your kind consideration of the circumstances, perhaps we can conduct our business today. I would be very grateful.
Well, perhaps the boy should wait in the lobby.
Motka, dear, go sit out front.
I don't want to leave you alone with him.
I won't be long.
I'll be right outside the door.
Thank you, Motka. He's disturbed about his father.
These things happen. What can you do? So, what has your husband told you about the tariffs?
The border tariff is 20% of the gross value of the order.
It's now 15% prior and 15% after.
That's most of the profit.
It is what it is. The Russian orders are out of the question.
You don't have to like them to take their money.
There you are. Money makes everything right with you people. That's the deal on the table. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
Good.
Vicky
Please
stamps
convey to
and
your
signs the
husband
orders.
my wishes for his speedy recovery.
Certainly.
Oh, 1 second. You're an obstetrician at the Jewish hospital?
Yes.
My sister is pregnant and due in 2 months. She's having complications and I'm not confident in her doctor.
Here's my card. Tell her to make an appointment with me.
There is a perception that Jewish newborns and infants have lower mortality rates than Poles.
It's not a perception. It's a fact.
Why is that?
For the same reason there are Jewish women doctors. Have a good day.
UD Farber is found sitting and reading. A flying soccer ball hit.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hey, I think we're in the same group together. My name is Mordechai Zaidel. My friends call me Motke.
I'm Yodi Farber.
And this is my friend Pieter. He's my guest here today.
Hello.
Hello. Why are you all dusty?
I helped my papa deliver coal. I have to go. He'll be looking for me. Thanks for bringing me here, Motke. It's really nice.
Hey, what are you reading?
A trigonometry book.
Are you kidding? Why?
I want to be an engineer.
This is a summer camp. You don't do that here.
What do you do?
I play sports. I like to sail.
There's no water here.
They don't have sailing here. The Maccabi Sports Club has a marina and sailing school.
Sounds nice. Do they play soccer there too?
The Vilna Maccabi team is #1 in the region.
Do you play on that team?
No, I'm not very good. I just play for fun.
Why don't you do something you're good at?
I don't know.
Why are you here and not at the Maccabi camp?
My mother thinks it's good for me to be here.
Is it?
I don't know. It's my first time. Is this your first time?
Third.
So what do you like to do here?
I like to read.
How's the food?
Better than the orphanage.
You live in an orphanage?
I lost my parents in the war.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was only 2, so it's not like I ever knew them.
I never met an orphan before.
You're going to meet a lot of them here. This is where we come in the summer.
Are you from around here? Farber. Is that a German name?
My mother was Jewish. We lived in Posen.
You speak German? Wow. What does that mean?
The judge says to the accused, you are charged with luring your neighbor into the forest and then savagely beating him. Do you not think you went a bit too far? Accused, yes, you are right. I should have done it beforehand in the meadow.
That's good.
Yeah, the Poles get nervous when they hear German, so they leave me alone. Are you from here?
Yeah. Yes.
It's nice around here. Just about everyone's a Jew. It's weird.
What's so weird about it?
It just is. You want to be friends with an orphan?
Sure.
Motke and Yudi are waiting for Rabbi Halperin.
Oh, I hate doing this. I've been going to Hebrew school since I was 6. I can't stand it anymore. Half the city is coming. I'm embarrassed just to thinking about it.
It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Your parents are giving us a great opportunity.
They should adopt you. You reflect so much better on them than I do. How do you say the assistant rabbi is an asshole in German?
Der assistant rabbi ist ein Arschloch.
Der assistant rabbi is ein Arschloch.
You're going to get us in trouble.
You should have thought about that earlier. Der assistant rabbi is Arschloch. Der assistant rabbi is ein Arschloch.
Boys, I apologize for being late. So, how are you today?
Good.
Good.
How are you doing with everything?
Good.
Good.
So, everything is good. We'll see. Let's start with your Haftarah. Good, Yudi, good. Matka, did you practice? You have 3 weeks. There's a Haftarah portion, the Torah reading, the Maftir, and your speech. 3 weeks. Do you want to practice it now?
No.
Then how are you going to learn it?
Fine. We'll practice today.
Good. Please do that, and we'll meet again in 2 days. Mutka, I'd like to have a word with you alone. Would you excuse us, Yudi? Mutka, how is your father?
You don't know.
I do. Actually, I wanted to know how you are.
Then why didn't you just ask me that?
What's on your mind? Do you talk to anyone?
Why should I talk to anyone?
Because it would be good for you. You're very good at deflection, Matka. That's a sophisticated talent for someone your age, which is why I'm not too worried about you.
Why should you worry about me?
I worry about a lot of people. Things are worse for Jews now that Vilna is part of Poland, and I fear it's not going to get better. When that happens, some people embrace their otherness. Other people try to get away from it. But being a Jew, it's like gravity. It always pulls you back. So, do what you have to do. It's okay. But whatever you do it the best you can.
Is that all?
That's enough. Come back in 2 days and show me you understand what I just told you.
Joseph Seidel enters with difficulty using a cane. Everyone else is sitting around the table. They are all dressed up in expensive clothing.
We are so proud of both of you. You sang so well, everyone was impressed.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you for this.
You are very welcome.
Why so dour, Motke?
It was overwhelming. I hope you got what you wanted.
Yes, you gave us something to celebrate, and we did.
What's wrong with that? It doesn't happen often.
I loved it. I would do it again anytime.
Please shut up, Yudi.
Motke.
Sorry.
Matka, it's okay. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me.
There is no need.
I have an announcement. You have both been accepted into the Jewish Royal Gymnasia. When you graduate, you will go to Stefan Batory University.
You need to have a profession that is useful anywhere in case you need to leave Poland.
Why didn't we just leave now?
We can't. Any place we would want to go right now is closed off to us.
And you have a better chance to emigrate with a university degree.
There's one more thing. Yudi, you are welcome to live here. We have a room set up for you.
We have already spoken with the orphanage.
Motke, did you know about this? Am I going to annoy you too much?
Probably.
Then I'll stay.
Peter is pasting up anti-Semitic bills. He does not see Motke approaching him from behind.
Pieter, what are you doing?
Hi, Motke. How's your papa?
Why are you putting these up? Do you believe what this says?
I can't read.
It's lies, hateful lies about Jews. Who told you to put these up?
I'm not allowed to tell you.
Does your father know you're doing this?
No.
Did someone pay you to do this? How much?
1 zloty.
Look, give me all your bills and I'll give you 2 zlotys. No one is going to know.
Motke takes coins from his pocket and offers them to Peter. Peter hesitates, but accepts them.
You don't have to tell me who gave these to you, but please tell me why.
Because the Jews killed Jesus Christ. And on Passover, they kill Christian children and grind their bones to make your matzah.
Is that what they tell you in your church? You believe that?
They're not allowed to lie. Are you going to tell my papa?
No. Will you promise not to do this again, even if a priest asks you to?
I don't know. Can I go now?
Yes.
When we make the next delivery to your home, I'll ask my papa to give you some extra coal.
That's okay. Say hello to him for me.
Joseph is sitting at a desk, looking dejected, but perks up when Yuri enters, carrying a loaf.
I'm sorry I'm so late. I wanted to get a loaf of bread and the food lines go around the block now.
I've never experienced anything like this. Would you like some water, some tea?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
And how was your school today? Did you get your final examination results back?
Yes, I got an A in physics and math.
Excellent. And how did Mutke do?
He gets A's in the subjects he likes.
He's very capable when he applies himself.
Are you okay?
25 years ago, my father had nearly 90 people working here. Now I have 10. The Jewish Merchants Credit Union collapsed yesterday. I lost my main source of financing to buy materials and pay wages.
Can you still run business?
My real problem is the new licensing law. Now an owner must pass an oral examination in Polish. It is designed to put Jewish manufacturers out of business. There are Poles who will obtain a license from me, but only in exchange for majority ownership. You are not considered a Jew by the Polish authorities because your father wasn't Jewish. If I transfer ownership to you, you could take the licensing exam.
I would be happy to do that.
You would have to become a competent leather craftsman quickly. That means working here all summer and after school in the fall.
I understand.
They might ask you if you're a Jew.
They may not. I speak Polish with a German accent, not a Vilna Jew. That should work.
I apologize for putting you in this situation.
I'm honored to be of help. Tell me more about the examination.
Yudi and Motke sit at a table outside a cafe.
You worked all summer and now you have to work after school too? I never get to see you anymore.
The licensing exam is coming up soon. Once I pass, I won't have to work at the shop anymore.
Let's go somewhere else. We can be arrested here.
Sitting outside a cafe?
It's the law now. We're trespassing.
Let them. What did you want to tell me?
I'm embarrassed that my father is taking advantage of you like this.
He's not.
How much is he paying you?
He pays me very well.
I'm sure. So now you have your own money too.
What are you trying to say?
I get an allowance. You earn your money, real money. They treat you like an adult. You know, they can't adopt you now. They didn't adopt you when they could have. Now it's impossible.
I own the family business now. It's almost the same thing. Do I need a document that says I'm your brother?
No.
I was only trying to help father.
He should have asked me first.
He couldn't ask you. You can't do what I'm doing.
I know that.
Do you think I stole your birthright?
Don't be stupid. You know I don't care about making gloves.
Neither do I. I want to study engineering. What do you want?
You should have told me before you accepted.
You're right. I should have spoken to you. I'm sorry.
I just wish I could be the one to help my father.
Someday you will. You know what the hardest thing for me has been?
What? What?
I never get to see you either, Mutke. You mean the world to me.
Oh, stop it. You make me feel silly. I just want to do something.
Then do something.
Judy sits engrossed at a writing table. Motke enters.
Hey, what are you working on?
A project for my civil engineering class.
What is it?
We have to design a road.
Where's the road going?
You choose where you want it to go.
It's not my road.
Yes, it is. It is a road without direction. It has your name all over it. So choose.
From wherever I am to wherever you are.
Do you want to know about the project or do you want to annoy me?
I'd like to do both. Tell me about the project.
My problem is the load. The road support a specified load. So you need to know how to optimize the strength with minimum material. The calculations are complicated. It's not nearly as intellectually glamorous as arts and history.
I sense a reprimand coming.
Roads and buildings are essential and complicated. When you demonstrate the ability to design them, you assume authority. People don't question authority. That gives you leverage.
Where's this going?
Possibly nowhere, just like you.
Have you read about the Reichstag fire decree?
No.
Well, I have. Any German citizen can be imprisoned if they are considered unfriendly to the Nazi cause.
So, you think that will happen here?
It will most certainly happen here. The fascist National Democrats are already dancing in the streets.
Even more reason to have a useful skill for protection.
I agree. However, what I have learned over the last 2 years of study is that unlike your physical properties, history does not advance in a predictable, rational way. It regresses, and as often as it progresses, it's a road that can take you to places you don't want to go. Your physical roads won't do any good when that happens.
You analyze things too much. It will paralyze you.
Who's paralyzed? I'm going to transfer to the law department.
You're crazy. You will need to earn Krautz's approval.
I know. He has to accept me as a professional courtesy to our mother.
I'll make you pay dearly for that. Why do you want to do this?
Like you said, for protection, they have always used lies and fists to attack us, and now they have laws.
Naomi and Joseph Seidel, Motke and Yudi, Rosa Sabat, and Abba Kovner. It is the end of the Passover Seder ceremony. They hold their fourth wine glass up and offer the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Next year in Jerusalem.
Next year in Jerusalem.
We can only hope. So Rosa, what is the Zionist plan now that Great Britain is shutting down immigration to Palestine?
We can still get hundreds a month into Palestine. You should all leave Vilna. The National Democrats are in charge now. They're the same as the Nazis.
Why aren't you leaving?
I can't leave my patients. And besides, it's my job to get others out. They need people like you in Palestine. You'll be safe there.
But what protection would we have there? The British are as anti-Semitic as the Poles, and we'd have to leave here with nothing.
You have no protection here. Look what's happening at the universities. They force Jewish students to sit on separate benches and invite thugs to beat them if they don't. Abba, how many times have you let yourself be beaten?
I won't let them scare me away. When they hit me, I hit them back.
You're lucky they haven't killed you, like the others who hit back.
Lotka, Yudi, will you two help me bring out dinner?
Abba, Yudi tells me your poems have been published. What are they about?
Getting beaten by Polish thugs. I will give you a copy.
I can purchase a copy.
No, I owe Motke. If he had not defended me in court, I would be in prison now.
We hardly ever see him. He practically lives at the courthouse.
The Polish slander laws are as bad as the beatings. Call someone who hits you a Polish pig and you're charged with insulting the Polish nation. It's a fine or jail.
Naomi, Motke, and Yudi re-enter with trays of food.
We should get guns.
A Jew with a gun is a dead Jew.
Abba is right.
They'll use that against us in the courts, proof that we're the enemy.
So why is this night different from all other years?
Because on this year,
we serve only vegetables. You'll be amazed to see what I can do with beef.
This is our history. We were slaves in Egypt, and then God brought us out with an outstretched arm. Speaking of an outstretched arm, what time does the cardinal give his speech on the radio?
9 o'clock, I think.
It's starting right now. Perhaps he will make an attempt to diffuse all this hatred.
I wouldn't count on it.
It might ruin your appetite. You can read about it tomorrow.
I'd rather hear it directly.
A Jewish problem exists and will continue to exist as long as the Jews remain Jews. It is a fact that the Jews fight against the Catholic Church. It is a fact that Jewish influence upon morals is fatal and that publishers spread pornographic literature. It is true that the Jews are committing frauds, practicing usury, and dealing in white slavery. But let us be just. Not all Jews are like that. It is not permissible to hate anyone, not even Jews. One ought to separate oneself against its anti-Christian culture, and especially to boycott the Jewish press and demoralizing Jewish values.
Could have been worse.
Which part?
Let's eat dinner, shall we?
I don't have an appetite.
No point in letting good food go to waste.
How about another cup of wine?
I could do with that. Thank
This
you.
Passover deserves a 5th cup.
Yudi pours
Someone want to
another
say
cup of
a
wine.
blessing?
I will. This blessing is for the 5th child who knows all too well what is happening, but doesn't understand why, no matter how many explanations are given. L'chaim.
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 Peter, now a Lithuanian soldier, has entered carrying a sack.
You can't loot a hospital.
The Lithuanian army has no supplies. When the Russians invaded, they put us in charge, but they gave us nothing.
The hospital administrator is responsible for that.
Then go get him.
Rosa, get shaken.
You'll be okay?
I'll be fine. The hospital has become a shelter for Jewish refugees
They don't have anything worth stealing either. Do you know why?
because the Russians took everything.
Precisely. I hope the Germans show up soon.
Why?
Because they're not the Russians.
Do you want some food? Here,
That?
It's all I have.
Peter takes the apple and put it in his sack.
You look familiar. You're Peter, the boy who delivers coal.
You're stalling. Show me where the supplies are.
Peter.
Put your gun
Jens enters and forcibly separates the soldiers.
Put your gun away. You probably don't even have any bullets.
Would you like to find out?
I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave before I ask for your name.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to show me where your supplies are before I shoot you.
I am Captain Jacob Gens of the Lithuanian Reserve Army. Go ahead. Shoot an officer.
Prove it.
Jens takes his credentials and hands it to Peter.
How do I know this is real?
Go ask your commanding officer.
If this is fake, you'll be very sorry.
And if you don't leave right now, you will be very sorry.
I'll be back if this doesn't check out.
Peter
My best. You all right?
You're really a captain in the Lithuanian army?
In the reserves. I was recalled last year.
How come we didn't know this when we hired you?
For the same reason you don't know I belong to the League of Zionist Officers. I try not to advertise this information. It's not a good time to be a Jew.
So, what do we do now?
Just keep working. That is your best survival strategy.
Do you think the Germans will invade?
I've heard rumors of a secret non-aggression pact between the Germans and the Russians, but it won't last.
Can you obtain guns?
It's dangerous and expensive. I can protect the hospital better if I'm not exposed in that way.
But you could provide advice about getting them.
Yes.
Do you know Abba Kovner,
Who is he?
a friend of ours? Perhaps you would join us for dinner sometime.
That would be a pleasure, Dr. Zidell.
Are you going to tell us where you hid the supplies?
No, it's better if you don't know.
Yudi is standing over a draft. Pendergla, the director of the firm, enters. He carries a large roll of blueprints and paper.
Farber, I need you right now.
What's the emergency?
Dergla puts the blueprints and documents on the drafting table.
He's just arrived. Preliminary design plans. We need to come up with a bid to finish the drawings, specify material requirements, and oversee construction. We have 3 days.
3 days? Where did this come from?
IG Farben.
German firm? They have plenty of architects and engineers.
Not since they expelled the Jews. They are desperate. We could be set for life.
Have you looked at this yet?
It's in German. I can't understand it.
Is this for a project in Germany?
Poland and Lithuania. We have 3 days to respond with a proposal.
I've never seen drawings like this. Is this a pen for animals? A slaughterhouse?
I don't see conveyors or hooks.
It's huge. Can we find out more about this project?
I need you to make whatever assumptions you can so we can submit a bid immediately. I need you to work on this non-stop. Can you do that?
I need a few minutes to study this.
I'll be right back.
I understand.
Yudi goes through the blueprints.
This could hold at least 1,000 animals at a time. What are these shower heads?
Well, are you okay? Do you want some water?
I'm fine.
So, can it be done?
I would have to work day and night.
I'll provide you with as much assistance as you need.
No! It's simple enough for me to do myself.
I need this done on time.
It will be.
So, what do you think it is?
An industrial pre-processing facility, organic material, like removing pests from grain. That's why it looks so simple.
If we get this, we will become the largest engineering firm in Lithuania, and you will become its youngest partner. What do you think of that? I have a cot and some food brought in for you. I appreciate your dedication, Farber.
Thank you.
Farber, what do you think about the Germans?
Do you not want their money? It's too simple. How do you break something so simple?
Russian Commissar Alperovich is sitting at a desk with a chair in front of it.
Mutka Zaido.
Who are you?
Commissar Alperovich, Soviet Regional Economic Director.
Where's my father?
He's resting. You will see him tomorrow or some other day. It depends on what you do.
About what?
What needs to be done.
Why are you sitting at his desk?
I'm working. And I have important work for you. Transitioning strategic assets to serve the common good, like the shop.
My father's shop is a strategic asset?
All assets are strategic. We are at war. The army needs millions of gloves.
I don't have manufacturing expertise.
Your father can do that part. You consolidate the shops. It's a big job. I need you. You are educated, enlightened, and capable, and come from a respected family.
I'm not a socialist or a communist.
Or a Zionist, or Bundist, nor are you an assimilationist or a traditionalist. You're not a Pole or a Lithuanian. So, what are you?
I'm sure you know.
Are you a Jew?
I'm sure you know already.
I do. Incidentally, I am a Jew as well. Shalom Aleichem. But that's not what I care about at this moment.
Why not? The Germans say they want to eradicate us.
The Soviet Republic will stop them. That's why you need to help us resist and overthrow the Nazis. We are your only chance. You need to do your part to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
By appropriating other people's property?
Mutka. What we do is social engineering for the sake of a better society.
And that includes threatening people with the well-being of their families?
Don't let yourself be paralyzed by sentimental morality. Mutka, that's the trouble with Jews. They are so infrequently in control of things that they find the obligations and requirements of being in control distasteful. That's why they are endlessly victimized.
I object to that.
Take it up with the Nazis. So, what is your answer?
Okay, I'll help you. But I want to see my father today.
Welcome to the Communist Party, Mutka. I expect you will perform your duties as well. And if you do, there are privileges.
You know, you can keep the privileges for yourself. Champagne. Hey, what are we celebrating?
It's our birthdays.
Both of our birthdays? Hey, would you like to join us? Anyone?
How's the champagne tasting for you, Matke?
It's actually really good. I'm enjoying it. Thanks. I think I'll have a little more. Wow.
Champagne? What are you guys celebrating?
It's our birthdays. Hey,
Oh,
who's this?
both of your birthdays.
Yeah, would you like to join us?
Why not? And for 3 rubles, I will sing something special for you.
That's a lot of money for a song.
But you won't be disappointed. So, how old are you?
26.
Oh, real man. And how long have you known each other?
We're brothers.
Twins? You don't look alike.
We're 3 months apart.
I'd like to know how that happened.
We'll tell you for a song.
Oh, are you going to pay me?
Let's get hands for 3 rubles.
Thank you. Bei mir bist du schön, please let me explain. Bei mir bist du schön means that you're grand. Bei mir bist du schön, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even so wunderbar. Each only language helps me tell you how great you are. I've tried to explain. Bei mir bist du schön, so kiss me, and I'll make you understand. I told you it would be worth it.
You have a beautiful voice.
What's your name?
Chayale. So, which one of you is going to call me?
Maybe both of us.
So, happy birthday to both of you. May you live to be 100.
Are you going to call on her?
I don't know. It's not a good time.
It's never a good time.
All right. I will.
Good. The Nazis will be here in 6 months. All the Jews.
How could they possibly do it?
They can. I'm designing extermination plants.
What?
Giant facilities for poisoning and incinerating people.
What?
All over Eastern Europe.
Are they actually being built?
Yes. But I am incorporating subtle design flaws. Operation and maintenance will be a chronic problem.
It's not enough. We need to do something.
When you know what that is, let me know. In the meantime, keep making gloves. Happy birthday, Matka.
Happy birthday, brother.
A meeting with Jacob Ken, Naomi, Motke, and you.
How much time do we have before the German army arrives?
2 days, 3 days. Depends on what the Red Army does.
What can we do?
Vilna is defenseless. It's what
No
are you gonna-
resistance. The Wehrmacht will have a military government in place within 5 days. It'll be quiet until the Einsatzgruppen arrives.
What's the Einsatzgruppe?
SS death squads. They deal with the civilian population.
Do you think they will kill civilians? Women and children too?
They plan on killing all of us. Make no mistake.
I'm not sure. I've heard it is relatively common in Warsaw, Grodno, and Bialystok. Vilna is crucial to Germany's invasion of Russia. They can't disrupt their supply chains.
It's crazy to invade Russia. Can the Germans really overwhelm the Red Army?
I don't know.
We put a Red Cross flag on the roof, but I don't think it means anything to these people.
It's time to secure the safe places and collect the valuables.
How? With the police and the militia looting.
We have trained people with guns, thanks to Jacob.
Naomi, what are your plans?
I'm not sure. For the first time in my life, I feel paralyzed.
Let's get back to work.
Ludi, you need to find a Lithuanian family to stay with and speak German as much as possible. Motke, the Lithuanians have been identifying Russian collaborators, so the Germans know if you're dealing with Alperovich. You need to get out of Vilna.
There's no place for him to go.
You can hide here in the hospital. I control it, and I have some influence with the Lithuanians.
Well, what about you? You're a Jew.
I can fend for myself. Yudi, get his belongings and bring them into the basement.
Thank you.
Einsatzgruppen A, Commander, Commandant Humbert Achamer Befrader is waiting. Sergeant Martin Weiss enters.
Heil Hitler.
Stop that. It's annoying. Joachim Prefather.
Yes.
I'm Martin Weiss. First thing tomorrow, we go to the Ponar forest. It appears the Russians solved our logistics problems. They cleared an area and dug out a dozen large pits to store fuel. How are you doing with the lists?
Organized by block. We start with anyone associated with the communist apparatus, the newspapers, the university, and the civil service.
I have recruited 600 Lithuanian police and militia for the abduction squads. They start in 2 weeks. What is the capacity of Lukitsky prison?
I don't know.
That's not good, Achamer Prefather. You have no military training, do you?
No, I'm a lawyer.
Wunderbar. We need to eliminate 12,000 targets in 1 month. Do you know what that means? That means the transport of targets from Lukitsky to Pona must run like clockwork. You have established a liaison with the Jewish community yet?
I have summoned prominent Jews to a meeting in 2 days.
First thing, make sure they appoint a Jewish chief of police. Now, what problems do you foresee?
Rumors and panic. The elimination of the rabbis will be problematic. It will be hard to establish a credible narrative for that. I recommend that when they arrive at Luzitsky prison, they write post-dated postcards addressed to their families, indicating they are at work camps not too far from here. But to be safe, we should leave the cantors in place.
Not bad.
If you deny and deflect, distract and distort, you will instill doubt no matter how implausible the lie. I have 300 agents to spread propaganda and incite provocations.
You might actually be useful.
There could be a problem with having just one disposable location, though. Burning that many bodies in one place will create a stench that will reach Vilna. People will know what is happening.
In that case, there will be no burning until we figure it out. Secure all the time, all the lime that you can get your hands on. I leave with you this thought. If you throw a frog into boiling water, it will jump out. But if you place the frog into cool water and slowly bring it to a boil, the frog will not notice until it is too late. I will see you at Ponar in the morning. Good night.
Rosa stands next to Dessler. They look hard at each other and she moves to the other side of Gens. Achimir Pifrader enters and sits down behind a desk. He reviews some documents.
Rosa Sabat, because you are a respected leader, we will overlook for the time being your previous activities as a Zionist organizer. Jacob Gens, had the Wehrmacht found you, you'd be dead, but I need someone with your talents. And Sarah Dessler, you are a natural fit for what has to be done. So here we are, war. It's inevitable that many people will die, so we must work together.
To do what?
Save lives.
Whose lives?
Yours, your loved ones, your friends and colleagues.
You're here to kill us.
Don't believe those stories. We are not your problem. It's the Lithuanians you need to worry about. Have you noticed the looting and violence has stopped? We did that. We don't let mobs run amok. We're civilized. I'm offering all of you the opportunity to exert control and influence over what happens to you here. You will organize a Judenrat, a Jewish council, to assume civil authority over the affairs of Jews in Vilna.
And what would our responsibilities be?
To keep order among yourselves and support our war efforts against the Russians. We have a pressing need for skilled labor. We need you to identify and deliver that workforce.
What protections do we get if we do?
What protections will you have if you don't? We're going to test you, make it bad for you first, and then give you the opportunity to make it better. All Jewish businesses, schools, and synagogues will be closed, and Jews will be prohibited from shopping during the day. If you can effectively organize yourselves to meet our needs, things will get better. Your first task, to be completed by tomorrow morning, is to appoint 5 other members to the Judenrat. Gens, you will oversee the Judenrat and the Jewish police force. Dessler will be your second in command.
Dessler is unacceptable.
He's acceptable to me.
He cannot be on the Judenrat. He's a criminal. No one will serve with him.
He will be second in command of the Jewish police. We will start sending detailed labor requisitions to the Judenrat the day after tomorrow. Gens, you will report directly to Commandant Weiss. He is expecting you tomorrow at noon.
We've heard what he's like.
Weiss der Schwarz.
Precisely, which is why you should make every effort to cooperate. We will start sending detailed labor requisitions to the Judenrat the day after tomorrow.
Jacob Gens and Martin Weiss are sitting at
Vilna is so cosmopolitan. Theaters, concert halls, gardens, cafes. Who knew? Thank you for introducing me to such good vegetarian cuisine. Do you know how to ride a horse?
I was in the Lithuanian cavalry for a few months.
The Lithuanian military is pathetic. Find some horses for us. They're excellent for hunting. I don't think you're a real Lithuanian, Gens. You think? I can sense your mind working all the time. Your wife isn't Jewish, is she? And how old is your daughter?
19.
Attractive?
Yes.
Do you intend for her to marry into the Jewish faith?
She can make her own decisions.
An enlightened man, fluent in Lithuanian, German, Russian, Polish, Yiddish, and English. An officer and a lawyer. You're quite accomplished. You can almost pass for Aryan. Marvelous. How did you become a devotee of vegetarian cooking?
It has long been established that food made from vegetables is far healthier than meat.
Interesting. I don't eat as much meat as I used to.
That's commendable.
It's an occupational hazard. I find that after killing someone, I have no appetite for meat. Gens, I'm going to lay out the protocols of our working relationship. We have a two-pronged approach for the Jews, one for the strong and one for the weak. The strong must work and the weak must be weeded out. We will issue regular requests for both. We will identify specific skill sets and requirements for the strong. You can use your own criteria for the weak.
Commandant Achimer Pifrader informed us that we only had to provide workers.
Achimer Pifrader has his agenda. I have mine.
We won't do that.
Then I'll do it myself. And I won't be as discriminating. This is non-negotiable, Gens, so listen carefully. If you get a demand for 500 people, you deliver 500, not 300, not 495. Otherwise, it will be doubled. That will be on your head. And your family will pay for any mistakes. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm feeling good about you, Gens. Let's keep it that way.
In the small basement room where Motke lives, he, Rudy, and Jens are up late drinking wine.
How can this be happening right under our noses? 5,000 are missing, but we get postcards.
That's a trick.
Do you think they're dead? I would like to be hopeful.
I hear the Russians are holding the ground. The Germans will need more soldiers. More soldiers means more support workers. That's a good thing.
Whenever you sound optimistic, I know you have bad news. So what is it?
The labor requisition order for next week. I need your guidance before I bring this to the Judenrat. I need to make an executive decision, and I trust you to help me make it.
Well, they want us to deliver 500 people, but not for work. Jens, did you know that they were going to do this? This will kill your soul.
What are the alternatives?
We don't do it.
Then Vice will. He'll kill twice as many.
Why are you telling this only now?
What would you have done if you knew earlier?
I would hide people.
Vice and his Lithuanian thugs will just go on a rampage and kill anyone, infirm or not.
Let them show themselves to be the animals that they are.
And how exactly does that improve your moral stature? People find out we had a choice in the matter. I will let the Judenrat go through their endless deliberations, but I will do what we agree to here.
Oh, I don't know. It would have to be done gently. The victims can't know. You can't know what's going to happen. And what about my father? What about my father?
It's not a crime to protect your own.
How are we going to do this?
I don't know yet. But we must come up with a deception.
No force is to be used. Yet cannot involve Dessler. He's a thug.
I will do my best.
No, do better.
Let's open another bottle of wine.
The last one.
Are you waiting for something to celebrate?
Guess not.
Vice is a nightmare. He wants to meet my daughter.
Look, tell him she's in the hospital. We'll make her look miserable.
Good idea. This business of rounding up the infirm. You're right. Tell them they're coming to the hospital for examinations.
Look at us, drinking wine and calmly talking. We're going to become like them.
God forbid.
Is there a God? How does he allow something like this to happen?
Perhaps he is tired and has gone to sleep.
And this is just a bad dream.
Can you rule it out?
I can rule out God.
Martha Weiss and Humbert Achmer Pifrada are standing by a large pit. With them is Peter and another Lithuanian soldier.
This is a disaster. Walk me through the process.
The prisoners remove their clothes and belongings at the barracks, and then they are marched over here.
How many at a time?
25, one truckload.
What is happening while the prisoners are at the barracks?
The previous group is being shot at the pits.
Which can be heard at the barracks area, which is why they panic and run. And then you have to chase them down and shoot them. And this takes at least a half hour to get under control while another truck arrives. So everything is backed up. What happens when the prisoners arrive at the pits?
We line them up and shoot them.
Around the pit?
Yes.
Weiss positions Peter and the other soldier opposite Achmer Pifrada.
Like this?
Yes.
Weiss shoots one soldier in the head and he falls into the pit. Peter cowers.
Jesus Christ!
What do you see down there?
Bodies.
A genius. Where are the bodies? What position are the bodies in?
Along the sides. They're in no particular position.
Exactly. If you fill the pits this way, how many bodies fit in?
700, 800?
These pits have to accommodate 2,000 to 3,000 bodies each. They're approximately 20 meters wide by 6 meters deep. Seems to me you can lay out 40 bodies across in 7 rows, 10 layers deep. Does my math sound right, Commandant Achmer Pifrada, or would you like to go down there and check?
Your math sounds right.
You place wheelbarrows of lime and sand on the sides, 4 chain ladders, 3 machine guns, units, and you shoot only when you have 50 to 100 bodies laid out and when no detainees are at the barracks or approaching, which means you bring them here in groups of 50 and finish before you bring the next batch. That way everything is calm and peaceful when they approach, like they're going for a nature walk.
How do you get them to lie down in rows?
Ask them to. Nicely. But only after they have spread out the lime and sand. It's not like they have anything better to do.
Thank you for your input.
You're very welcome. Commandant Achmed, your father. What a ridiculous name. Aren't you embarrassed to be called that?
Motke is sitting on the floor. Strewn about him are ledger books and loose pieces of paper. He is lost in concentration, looking from one ledger and piece of paper to another. His fingers down the pages. He circles things or quick thoughts.
Motka, it's me.
Just a minute. Just one moment.
Motka furtively rearranges, gathering papers together as
I'm coming in.
What are you doing here? I mean, why did you bring him here? I told you not to let him outside.
He insisted. Your father insisted. He's not well. He just wants to see you. I had no choice. I'm sorry. He just wanted to see you.
Why did you bring him here? I told you not to let him outside.
Motke, it doesn't matter to me. I just needed to see you.
By coming here, we will most certainly never see each other again.
What are you doing?
Tell your father what you're doing. He's making lists of people.
Why?
I'm recording history.
Recording our history?
I am separating the wheat from the chaff. How many will pass from the earth, and how many will be created? Who will live and who will die?
That is not for you to do.
Someone has to do it.
No, not you. No one.
Just because you say that doesn't mean it so.
Who gives you this authority?
No one. And no one wants to, least of all me. But I'm thorough. I care, and I weigh everything.
Motke, this is wrong.
Don't you think I know that? It's killing me every moment.
Then how can you do it? And what about me? Aren't I chaff?
I am doing what is necessary to prevent people from being murdered. People who should live for the benefit of others.
Only God can determine that.
And if there is no God...
You're making me ashamed. Would Yudi do this? What does he think?
You would need to ask Yudi. I don't have a lot of time.
Goodbye, Motke.
Goodbye, Papa.
Motke.
What? What?
Never forget that you are a Jew.
Rabbi Halperin once told me that being a Jew is like gravity. He also said, whatever you do, do it the best you can.
He didn't mean this.
Motke is alone and sleeping on the floor.
Who's there?
Hayale Rosenthal.
Oh, come in. What are you doing here?
Are you going to invite me in?
Yes. How did you find me?
I ran into your brother, Yudi. You told me you were going to call on me. That was 6 months ago. You shouldn't keep a girl waiting that long.
I can't leave here.
I know. Yudi told me.
How have you been?
The cabaret is closed, so I'm out of work. And you must get lonely down here. Bei mir bist du schön. Again, I'll explain. Well, do you want to ask me to sit down?
Please, please.
He offers her a seat.
Thank you. I brought you something.
Oh, wow.
Open it.
Whoa, chocolates.
Yes,
Mm,
eat it.
mm,
Now you're sweet too.
mm.
Weiss and Achamer Pifrater in deep discussion.
3,000 people live in the Jewish quarter. It's already packed.
Every Jew in Vilna is going in there next week.
Impossible. There are 60,000 Jews left. I don't see how we can get half of them in there.
Those are our orders from Stadaka.
Another useless lawyer who doesn't know what he's doing? Where do you all come from? There's no point in herding all the Jews into the ghetto. It will be chaos.
I think that is the point.
Sounds of breaking doors, windows, walls, floors, snapping locks, axes, saws, gunfire. It is 5 a.m. and Rosa Sabad is up. The room is cluttered and messy. There are 2 narrow cots. On one, Motke and Yudi are sleeping head to foot. On the other, Naomi Zaidel is sleeping. All are full.
Yuri! Yuri! The toilets are overflowing. It's everywhere.
Nice.
What time is it?
A little after 5 a.m. The toilets are overflowing again.
What's happening?
I think the sewers are backing up again. And I need to go.
Well, go in a bucket, for God's sake. There's one outside the door. Haven't they finished the latrines by the Ozmianska gate?
No, Gens was supposed to get that done. I have to go.
Yudi and Motka wash their hands in a very deliberate manner.
How did all those people get in? Where is Gens? His police are supposed to guard the entrance.
Are you suggesting they should have used their guns?
They should be more effective. We're losing control of the hospital. No one of those people had a work permit. How did they get into the ghetto in the first place?
We'll find ways. We're going to need those people.
That was horrible.
What do you think you would be doing on a kibbutz? Get used to it.
The entire hospital needs to be disinfected, and we don't have enough bleach or hydrogen peroxide. We need to collect all alcohol, salt, and vinegar we can get.
I'll put a detail together to do that.
And when will the water stations be ready?
Boilers should be working 3 days. We have to first redirect water to them and the hospital.
Rosa proceeds to the washing table and washes her hands, as the others did. Watches her.
That's good. That's good, Rosa. Are you instructing everyone how to wash their hands this way?
We begin and end every day with this lesson.
It's more important than eating, especially for the children. With 6 families, 1 outbreak, and we are all doomed. It's getting light out. We should look in on the patients.
I'll help you. But I need to eat something first. Join me. I have some carrots and turnips and boiled water.
I would love some tea.
Can't help you with that.
I'll have a turnip.
Here.
I could use a cigarette.
Since when did you stop smoking?
Since the day Weiss played Russian roulette with him, he gives you a cigarette if you live.
4 months later, there is December.
We need to find additional shelters for the orphans. It's too cold for them to sleep outside. If they freeze to death, it'll be on our heads.
I understand, but it's not our only emergency.
We have no place to put another orphanage. 20,000 people are occupying space for 3,000.
There are at least 100 orphans who are helping with health inspections and special projects.
By special projects, you mean smuggling.
The young ones are small enough to slip through holes in the fences and crawl. It's regrettable, but necessary. We cannot function without them.
We need 100 more. We can find shelter for them.
Can we even get work permits for 25 more teachers? That will help.
I'll ask Vice.
He'll want more infirm.
Each infirm we give Vice gets us a work permit. That's the arrangement. Every permit saves 4 people.
What about offering rubles and gold instead?
That won't help us. We will always want more. Giving away our financial resources will make it even more difficult to run a ghetto.
There's also an outbreak of lice. We will need to inspect and delouse twice a week until it's contained. All men must shave their heads and beards.
You're going to get a pushback from the Orthodox.
Where is it written that they have to be fed? We'll set up barbers at the soup kitchens. No shave, no food.
On a positive note, there hasn't been one case of typhus, cholera, or tuberculosis in 2 months.
That can change in a moment. We have more undocumented people than we thought because they're hiding. They don't comply with health regulations. They make it impossible to maintain the hygiene of the ghetto.
You're not suggesting that we turn them over.
Everyday fights break out in the food lines. When the undocumented show up at the soup kitchens, we feed them. But the workers become outraged. There's barely enough food for them. We serve 25,000 meals a day, and 1/3 goes to the undocumented.
The Nazis have instructed the Lithuanian militia to stage a raid next week. It frustrates them that we refuse to die on our own volition.
How did you come to know this?
My sources. It will be extremely brutal. Everyone will be at risk, especially the children. We can prevent it by giving them the infirm. Obtain more work permits at the same time. Every permit saves a family. Motke, what do you think?
I've stopped thinking.
Does Dessler know about this raid?
Yes.
He offers protection for a price. Why are you letting him do that? Do you have an arrangement with him?
I do what I can to keep him under control.
By parading around on a horse with Vice? How does that look?
Let's move on.
The boilers are working 24 hours a day. Our greatest need is coal. That and food are our most valuable commodities. The bathhouses, water stations, and laundries are all working.
Anything else? If God created monsters, he also created heroes. Thanks to everyone here, we have saved countless lives. The 20,000 people live and even thrive in such conditions is a miracle. We will not let anyone die of starvation or disease. We will humiliate our oppressors with our dignity, humanity, and fortitude.
Abba Kovner speaks under the light.
Jewish youth, do not trust those who are trying to deceive you. Out of the 80,000 Jews in Vilna, only 20,000 are left. Ponar is not a concentration camp. They have all been shot there. Hitler plans to destroy all the Jews of Europe, and we have been chosen as the first in line. Let us not go like sheep to the slaughter. True, we are defenseless and weak, but the only reply to the murderer is revolt. Brothers and sisters, better to fall as free fighters than to live by the mercy of the murderers. Arise! Arise with your last breath.
Bravo! Bravo, Kovner. Such eloquence. But then you are a poet by training, not a soldier. It's a shame you cannot fight the Nazis with words, but you will need these instead. these guns. So let's assume every one of your freedom fighters has one of these. A dozen Lithuanian militia arrive with machine guns. They enter from the Rudnica Street gate and split up. It's noon, and the children and elderly are lining up for food. So tell me how this plays out. You start shooting. They start shooting. How many are killed in the first 5 minutes? 200? 1,000? Then the reinforcements show up. There's panic everywhere. They have a perfect excuse to clean house. And how many of you freedom fighters get to fight another day? I don't disagree with you. They have killed thousands of us and will kill more. But we must not bring it upon ourselves. Not here in the ghetto. If you want to die, fine. But no innocent person dies with you. I won't permit it. Neither will I prevent you from doing what your conscience demands. But outside the ghetto. Does everyone understand this? Good luck to you.
Jens and Weiss are seated in the front row. Hyla Rosenthal, in an elegant cocktail dress, is singing an upbeat song.
She's exquisite. I might take her for myself. Look how good life is here. There are 2 theaters now and a symphony orchestra. You Jews love culture, don't you?
It's good for morale.
The shops are busy too and well stocked. I saw cakes, meat, sugar, even fish. It's a golden age in here. You wouldn't know it's wartime.
You exaggerate how good it is.
You think so? People outside the ghetto tell me they would rather be in here. Tell me, Gens, with things going so well for you now, why are we suddenly having a rash of nasty incidents?
What do you mean?
Sabotage, raids, ambushes?
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Really? You should know about these things before they happen. You know who Motke Zyro is?
No.
I see. What about Abakovner?
No, I don't know him either.
Now, that's a lie you're going to pay for. You will deliver Kovner to me in 2 days, or every woman in the ghetto will be raped and killed, starting with your daughter. Nod if you understand me, Gens.
Gens is sitting at a desk with 2 chairs in front of him. Dessler enters with Yuri and Motke, whose hands are cuffed behind their backs.
Dessler, what the hell are you doing? I told you to ask them to come here, not arrest them.
You said you wanted to see them as soon as possible. I know what that means.
Heil Hitler!
Why are you avoiding me?
We figured we would be next.
Let me explain.
What's to explain? Hovner over to Weiss.
I didn't. Kovner is safe. I smuggled him out.
Jens Dessler and his henchmen turned the ghetto inside out looking for him. They killed hundreds.
I had to let that happen to convince Weiss we did everything possible to find Kovner. Would it have been better if the Lithuanian militia did it?
You keep saying that, but I saw Dessler's thugs at work. They're as bad as the Gestapo.
I can't control everything.
Half the Judenrat are dead.
Weiss walked into the meeting and shot everyone who was there. What could I have done about that? I thank God you two were there.
Why should we believe you? You're letting Dessler run the ghetto. He sells work permits for 10,000 rubles. What's your take?
How dare you? I never took money from anyone. Everything I do is for the well-being of the ghetto.
Then get rid of Dessler. He's an abomination.
I can't.
You can't or you won't.
You may get rid of me first. He tells Weiss that I'm soft. You're my only friends. I need you. There hasn't been a Gestapo action here in almost a year, while every other ghetto is being decimated. Think about that.
We know all this.
You stupid little children. How dare you judge me? You would have been dead long ago if it wasn't for me. And your mother, too. You forget your privileges.
We haven't forgotten, but you've crossed the line with Gessler.
You indulge yourself in sentimental morality.
Yes, it keeps us honest.
And human.
So, when things get done and everyone benefits, I'm not so bad. But when things get a little ugly, I'm not doing this to win anybody's approval. But if that's how it is, then I have good news for you. We're going to move 1,000 people out of the ghetto.
We know all about relocations. It's a one-way trip to Ponar.
Not this time. Plaja is building a barracks by the HKP factory on Sabot Street. He's moving all his workers and their families there.
And what do you get from that?
Nothing. Plaja is one of the righteous.
What do you want from us then?
Don't abandon me.
I think you've got that the other way around.
I saved Kovner.
Good luck, Jacob.
There is a record playing, and Bruno Kittel is playing along with it.
Shut that off!
That just cost you 1,000,000 rubles.
Who are you?
2,000,000 rubles.
Stop this at once. Where is Kitten?
Right here.
You're Kittel. Heil Hitler.
Better. You will do everything I tell you to, or I'll send you to the front. Nod that you understand. Now that we're properly introduced, let's get down to business. Where is your ledger?
I didn't bring it.
No, my confidence in you is already failing. We will rely on your memory. If you misrepresent anything or lie to me, you will go to the front immediately. Do you understand? Good. What have you squirreled away in rubles?
6 million.
Gold?
24 kilograms.
Where do you keep it?
In my apartment.
Since you already owe me 2,000,000 rubles, you only need to give me an additional 2, and 2/3 of the gold. Sound reasonable? You know why I'm here.
Liquidation of the ghetto. Too bad. It's a cash cow. If there's one thing the Jews know how to do, it's to make money. I've never seen such industry.
That's why I'm here, Martin. You're incapable of doing the job. You've been living with them for 2 years and they've grown on you. You've become sentimental. I understand. I admire their cultural inclinations myself. Perhaps if they had just stayed in the arts, we wouldn't have to kill them off. But they didn't, and now we must. Go and get the gold and money you owe me. Mach schnell.
Crafting table and a couple of chairs. Durga is at the table, nervously reviewing blueprints.
Come in.
Kittel enters, carrying rolls of blueprints.
Herr Kittel.
Pan Durgala, good day. Please sit down. Cigarette? Take one.
Please don't shoot me.
Why did you say that?
People say that's what you do after you offer a light.
That's good and bad. It's good that my reputation precedes me. It's bad that I'm predictable. I'll have to rectify that. I have been asked to conduct an investigation.
What kind of an investigation?
The matter of the extermination facilities designed by your firm. Have you read the reports?
I don't read or write German.
So what did you do with them?
I put them away. The person who designed the facilities was no longer employed here.
Yuri Farbner.
Yes.
He's on his way.
What do the reports say?
That the designs are flawed, resulting in chronic failure. The originals?
Yes.
Kittel hands Durgala the blueprints he brought.
Compare these. Are they the same?
No.
Ah. Yuri Farbner, the wonderkind engineer of the ghetto. I have heard so much about you. I am just... Oh. Yuri. Do you know who I am, Yuri?
I know who you are.
Do you know why you were brought here? Take a look at those blueprints. They're different.
So?
Why?
One is a preliminary draft, the other is the final plan. You can see the dates are different.
But it doesn't say draft or final.
None of them do.
Why is that?
Everything was rushed. The person receiving these would have known the difference.
And you're sure the final plans were sent?
Absolutely.
And if the facilities were built using the draft designs, would there be problems?
I wasn't informed of any. I was let go in 1942.
Why were you let go?
You don't know?
Dear Gellert, did you know he was a Jew when you hired him? Did you ask?
No.
Sounds like criminal negligence to me.
He takes out a razor and slits Durgala's.
Now, I need to verify that your account is not missing some details. Dessler, do something to hurt Yuri. You can break an arm or a hand, but don't go any further. Did you not hear me?
I heard you.
So why aren't you doing what I told you?
I won't hurt him.
Impressive. You are universally regarded as the lowest piece of dreck, and even a piece of dreck refuses to harm Yuri. I must give that some thought. Now get out of here and take that body with you.
Takes hold of Durgala and drags him out.
So, you are a paradigm of virtue.
You are not.
And you are honest and upright. Come on, it's your turn.
You are not.
Don't be predictable, it's boring. Do you sing?
No.
Dance?
No.
A shame. It would make a great vaudeville act, The Saint and the Sinner. I rarely meet someone who is held in such high regard. Dessler would sell out his own mother. Does your pseudo-brother Motke put you on a pedestal too? Or does he harbor some jealousy and resentment?
He's not my pseudo-brother.
His parents never adopted you.
Minor technicality.
Like the issue with these drawings. Motke also has a reputation for being effective, but he has his detractors. Not you, though. You're spotless. I'm having an epiphany, Yuri, an idea for drama. I love theatre, you know, it's what I studied. Do you know what the hardest thing about drama is? Keeping it true and honest. If you don't, it becomes cheap melodrama.
You should have that conversation with our theater company. I'm sure they would appreciate your aesthetic insights.
Regrettably, I don't have the time to get involved. Nevertheless, I have something of a spectacle in mind for you and your brother. It's getting me excited. I know what you've done, and I pronounce you guilty.
Are you going to kill me?
No. You stay with me.
Why?
Because I say so. All the world's a stage, and the ghetto is my theatre.
Kittel and Yudi are standing next to an impromptu gallows platform with a noose. A crowd has gathered around them.
You've attracted quite a crowd, Yudi. I love this. Simple, elegant. Nothing evokes a more visceral emotional response. The gallows present inevitability. Today, Yudi, you get a lesson in moral relativity. 11:59. Right on time. So, this is Commissar Moske. How are things with you?
Why was I sent to Lukitsky prison for 3 days?
Why are you asking questions? Yudi, is there something wrong with him?
Yes.
Shut up.
We were preparing for you. Dessler, set him up.
Dessler moves Yudi up the steps to the gallows platform, positions the noose around his neck, and binds his hands.
No, leave his hands. Not to worry, Yudi. Dessler still holds you in high regard. He just doesn't want to lose any more family members on your account. Incidentally, I enjoyed our conversations. I will regret if we don't get to continue them. Okay, Moske, much depends on you. Here is the situation. It could be that the hospital is entirely empty. Or perhaps it is packed full with people. The windows were painted so you can't tell. See the Lithuanian police surrounding the building with buckets of gasoline and torches? It's your decision, Moske. Hang Yudi or burn down the hospital. Your choice.
Where's my mother?
Where do you think she is?
I'm not going to do this.
Then I'll hang Yudi and burn down the hospital.
Why the hospital?
Because you're invested. Now choose. I will count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raise him up.
Dessler pulls down on the rope. Yudi is raised off of his feet.
I'll give you a third option, Moike. You can switch places with him.
I'll do it.
On second thought, I changed my mind.
Hospital. The hospital.
I didn't hear you.
The hospital!
No!
Burn the hospital down
Signals
now!
Dessler, who releases the rope. Yudi falls to the ground.
Burn it!
Motzke attacks Kittel. Kittel hits him in the head with his gun.
Do you need a hug, Yudi?
Kittel, Motzke, Yudi, and Chayla sit at a table with a lavish spread of food and many bottles of wine. They are drinking heavily.
What a beautiful home your parents have, Moske. Had. You can't just drink, eat! It's a sin to waste such good food.
Bring it to the soup kitchen.
Why? They're all going to die. But not you. Not for a while, at least. Which is why you should eat. You are going to need your strength.
I can't get the screaming out of my ears.
Intense, wasn't it? I wish you could appreciate how exquisite it was.
Where do all of you sociopaths come from?
The real genius of Hitler's organizational skills. Hitler truly hates the Jews, but hardly anyone else in the Reich cares one way or another. The fact of the matter is, most people in Germany never met a Jew. It's only because I lived in Berlin that I came across Jews, and they all seem to be perfectly good people, like you and Motke, and especially Heile here. Besides, without Jews there would be no theater.
So, what will you do when we are all gone?
Listen to the radio. I would very much like to kiss you, Heile. No, I can understand why you wouldn't want me to. It will be such a waste to kill you, though.
Should I be honored or revolted?
Did you kill Gens?
Of course.
Did he have any money or valuables?
None whatsoever. Very disappointing. But I'm sure Dessler will make up for him. It's all in vain anyway. In 2 weeks, the ghetto and everyone in it will be gone.
Germany is losing the war. Why bother?
It's what the Fuhrer wants.
But you don't have to do it.
I didn't have to do any of this. But it turns out that I'm good at it. Which brings us to the task at hand. We have not done an adequate job of eliminating prosecutable evidence that could impact Germany's long-term debt obligations. So, tomorrow, you go to Pernard to clean things up.
And then what?
Who knows? After tonight, we will never see each other again. Parting is such sweet sorrow. You should eat.
Motke, Yudi, and Heile are shackled, while Peter, now an officer in the Lithuanian army, addresses.
The first team chops wood and brings it to the fire pits. The second team digs out the bodies. The third team stacks them. Exactly 12 bodies and then a layer of wood. When you have 6 layers, you pour on the gasoline and burn them. This is repeated 3 times every day. First thing in the morning, everyone combs for valuables and carts away the ashes. Then you start again. You will be watched at all times. If you make a wrong move, you will be shot. The first order of business is to dig a pit where you will sleep. It must be at least 6 meters deep.
The stench is indescribable. We are covered with the rot of the dead. We know what death tastes like. Sometimes you sink to your knees in bodies.
In 5 days, I've excavated 532, every single one of them intimately. I can tell you when they died, how old they were, their sex, their station in life. Many have their eyes open. They're watching us. I swear it. They have thoughts too. Things they desperately want us to know.
Mornings are the best time. We comb through the ashes every day. Rings, bracelets, fillings from teeth. The guards cheer and clap when we turn over our findings. Even we get caught in the excitement.
We each have a quota for exhuming bodies, at least 80 a day. If you do not meet your quota, you get less food. So you work as hard as you possibly can for a little extra food. It's very strenuous work. You can't just pick up and carry an entire body and race to the fireside. The bodies are covered in lime and sand. You have to break them up with shovels and picks. Somehow, I'm able to shut down my mind and feelings completely. And then I dig up my mother.
Motke and Yudi plan.
We have to get out of here.
It will kill us if we try to escape.
It will kill us anyway. I'm not going to die here.
I'm too tired to listen to you.
I know how to do this. I know this soil. We can dig a tunnel out of here.
How?
It is 30 meters to the fence. Every night we dig with our hands, a little each time, 3 people. One scoops and passes the soil to the second. The second removes the soil. The third spreads it out and keeps watch. This soil is firm. We can do this.
Show me.
I lie on my stomach like this. Then you do the same behind me, your head on my knees. I use my hand to scoop the soil. I put it in my left hand. I stretch my left hand down to my knee. You take the soil with your left hand and put it in your right hand. With your left hand, you take the next handful of soil from me. You lift yourself up with your elbows and back yourself out. Crawl back in a little at a time, every night. You lift yourself up with your elbow, back yourself out. We crawl back in and we repeat a little at a time. We continue.
How far have we gone?
6 meters.
That's all?
That's enough.
Will we get there?
Yes.
When?
You'll know.
You're up to something. There's something going on down there.
What could be going on? We sleep.
How well do you sleep?
Like the dead.
Do you dream about escaping?
I try not to dream.
Come closer. I know you. Mutke?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, who are you?
I'm Peter. I used to deliver coal to your family. You were kind to me. I know what's happening here. That makes me a witness. Someone will come up from behind me and shoot me, and you will burn me. I know this. The Russians are close by. We hear their gunfire. The SS are petrified of being discovered. The Russians will treat me the same as the Germans. Do you think you can get away?
I've stopped thinking.
I wish I could. If I gave you this gun, will you try to kill me?
Does it matter?
No. Whatever you're doing down there, I won't stop you.
Yudi's plan continues.
How far have we gone?
26 meters.
We're almost there.
This was not a good idea.
When did you start thinking this?
Just now.
We're almost out. Thanks to you.
I don't know why I did this.
Because you're an engineer.
If you escape, what will you do?
Not this.
That's funny. You're very funny.
I'm glad I make you laugh.
I don't remember the last time I laughed.
Maybe you'll do it again.
That would be good.
It would.
The sleeping pit, darkness. Mutke speaks softly to people in the shadows.
It will be claustrophobic. You will feel like you're being buried alive. Once you go in there, there is no turning back. If you panic, we all die. When you get out, you will be on the other side of the fence, 10 meters from the forest. It's pitch black. There is no one, no moon. There is no moon. They will not be able to see you, but you won't be able to see them either. If you talk, they will hear and start shooting. Think hard about doing this. If you don't think you can do it, don't. You must know this in your heart. No one will judge you if you go or stay.
How many?
38.
Too many. Someone will panic. The tunnel will collapse.
Oh, we could do this.
Mutke, are you afraid to die?
Are you?
I asked you first.
Yes. I'm glad to have known you, Yudi.
I'm glad to have known you too, Mutke.
I wish you a good life.
You as well.
It's time.
Silence. Then klaxons and machine gun fire. Silence once again.
24 people came out of the tunnel. 13 were shot. Yudi was one of them, and 11 escaped. And I was one of those. I wandered in the forest until I found Abba Kovner. I joined the resistance and fought against the Nazis during the last months of the war. I went to Israel and fought for its independence. I married. I had 3 children and 4 grandchildren. I missed Judy every day. Before I died, I went back to Ponar with my family. I shouted out to the forest, to the ghosts of those who tried to eradicate us. Do you see me? Do you see me? I am still here with my children and my children's children, and they will have children and come here, and you will see them too.
Hi, Ira. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook. There you go, Ira. Thank you, Ira, for allowing us to do this reading here for Yom Hashoa. And thank you for joining us this afternoon. So to ask you to write this play, Vilna.
So before I get into that, I would just like to first thank you and all of the people associated with CBDB Productions for persevering under the most difficult conditions that we have lived under collectively as a world society to continue to rehearse and mount this production. This is really in the spirit of what people in Vilna were doing themselves. So who knew a year after the play was performed in New York that we would all be experiencing something akin to the way the world was closing in on us. So it's very ironic. But again, thank you for persevering and delivering this commemoration to the whole world of our ancestors who perished during World War II. So I will answer your question now. So no one asked me to write this, and its creation is more serendipitous than was deliberate. In the summer of 2016, I was enrolled in a playwriting workshop at Hollins University in Roanoke, Virginia, where I was enrolled in a course called First Drafts, where I had to write 6 plays in 6 weeks. We would get our prompts on a Thursday afternoon and have to deliver a full-length play by Sunday afternoon. That, while taking 2 other courses, was one of the most intense experiences of my life. The second assignment that I got was to find an article that day in the news and write a play about it. And I opened the New York Times. It was July 29th, 2016. And the article was about the discovery and the corroboration of the escape tunnel dug out of the killing pits in Ponar Forest. And it was like, it picked me. I didn't pick it. So within 72 hours, I wrote a first draft of that play. And many of the most touching and poignant scenes in the play, like the two boys digging themselves out of the pit, were scenes that I wrote in the first draft and remain. So after I wrote the first draft, I came back home, and about 9 months later, I started to do the research in earnest for the play. And that's when I discovered so much about the illustrious history of Vilna, which by 1850 was the third largest city in Russia and the leading economic and cultural center in Eastern Europe. In the midst of the Pale of Settlement, where the greatest density of Jews in history lived, 5 million Jews out of a population of approximately 30 million Poles. And the truly amazing thing about the story that I hope I wrote effectively was how, under the most difficult and arduous conditions, the people of Vilna organized themselves not only to persevere, but to thrive, and how they, almost every other ghetto, and Vilna was ground zero. It was the very first ghetto in 1940. And for 3 years, there were virtually no cases of cholera, typhus, the hygienic lockdown, and steps taken to prevent disease were extraordinary. And at the same time, culture thrived. I mean, there were literally orchestras, theater companies, everything imaginable. People continued to live as if it was normal lives. And, that was amazing to me. That was what really drew me into continuing to write the play. And as a matter of fact, now I'm writing a television series that goes back to the 1800s and traces the actual beginnings of how Vilna became the incredible cultural and economic center. So it's a real honor to be spending my life doing this, and I thank you again for bringing the play to life.
Thank you, Ira. A couple, the question basically that people asked in the comments on Facebook, is this fact or fiction? And we actually shared the Vilna page from the Off-Broadway production there as well, because you do in there that some of the characters are real, are people that actually lived in the time in the ghetto.
Most of the characters are real people. There's only a very small number that are fictitious. Virtually all of the characters in the play are based upon real people, and the events are real as well.
So what made you decide to Matka and Yuri specifically?
What was that? I didn't quite hear that.
What made you decide to follow Matka and Yuri's story? Why them?
Well,
and were they at?
Matka was the one of the people who survived the escape, and moved to Israel, and for over 40 years, claimed that approximately a dozen people were able to escape from the Ponar killing pits while they were shackled and chained and exhuming and burning bodies, 70,000 of them every day. And it wasn't until Professor Richard Freund, who I've met and came to the play with a team of scientists from Israel. I forget where else, but they used a radio tomography and actually discovered the escape tunnel that was, and so they were the central characters, both of them. In real life, I think it was Yuri, not Yuri. But they both escaped and went to Israel. So I created a history for them. That is certainly fictitious. They weren't half brothers. I didn't know whether or not Yuri was an orphan or not. I didn't really know a lot about the background for Mutke Zeidel, so I invented all of them. But their lives, their relatively short lives from the age of 10, 11 when they meet each other to when they are roughly in their late 30s. That was the story. It's always about the characters.
So the scene that I found very interesting was with that when they wash their hands in the
Yes, yes.
Vilna
Just like
was the cleanest, was the most, the best maintained. Is that
that was the hygienic rigor that was imposed by the medical authorities everywhere in Vilna. There was literally 20,000 people living in a 5 square block area. Think of that. If you were to do that reasonably comfortably today, you would need 6 30-story high-rise apartment buildings for those people to be living in. And they were living in the old quarter of Vilna, which was only 5 or 6 square blocks, 2 or 3 story buildings. It was the density was incredible. So hygiene was something that you had to deal with every single minute of the day, and certainly with a limited amount of clean water and the ability to eliminate waste. But they did it. Virtually 20,000 people lived for 3.5 years in those conditions and managed to not have a deteriorating society. If anything, they managed to maintain a normalcy that is very hard to conceive of. That's what I find incredible.
I want to give the floor to our Dr. Naomi Zeidel, or Shipra. Thank you, Shipra.
Thank you, Stevie, and thank you, Ira. I wanted to say that as somebody who met her husband thanks to his performing in a production of Joshua Sobel's Ghetto back in 1997.
I'm familiar with that play.
So I as soon as I started reading your play, I started recognizing some of the character names, and oh wow, right, Vilna Ghetto, this makes so much sense. So it's an extra pleasure and privilege to be involved in this particular production. And I also, being familiar with the other play, making Kittel such a patron of the arts, shall we say. He had a line about, all the world is stage and Jews in theater. It was very evocative of that. So thank you. Great job. And
you're very welcome. Now, Kittel was a real person, and he was
right.
roughly about 21 years old when he assumed that position of being the liquidator, and he studied theater in Berlin. He was surrounded by Jews.
Mhm.
It's
And he and Chayela had something going on too, I think. Some singer that lived. Yeah.
Charles, any other questions?
Yes, I actually do. I wanted to know because you're the playwright, and this is something that I think happens. Start writing. Where I know the article, and which part did you start with? Did you start with the Ponar pits, or and then develop the story as you went on, or you developed the characters first and then eventually got there?
Well, I had to, the way I started is I had to create a world before any of this happened. And I actually had a different focus. It was really Mutka and a love interest. And then there was Yuri. And one of the professors there said, well, you'll have to pick one or the other. It's gotta be the two boys, or it has to be Mutka and the female love interest. And so I took it from there. But yes, there was a whole, family story, and the story of, the two boys finding each other. That was very much a very early part of the original play.
I wanted to ask you, Ira, first of all, thank you for writing this very powerful play. And wanted to ask you about Gens. Did he indeed save Kovner? I'm trying to find out, if that was based on, what that was based on, or is that just sort of, yeah.
I can't claim for a fact that he had anything to do with saving Gens. I'm saving Kovna. And Kovna wasn't the actual head of the resistance. I'm drawing a blank. I forget the name of the other person.
It was Wittgenstein, I think.
Wittenstein, right. But they smuggled, Wittenstein was actually the one that was smuggled out. Kovna was able to take care of himself pretty well. And Kovna was certainly the most prominent survivor of that whole Vilna ghetto experience, and spoke for years about what happened. There were some people who actually were annoyed that I wrote a play where Gens had much of the focus instead of Kovna, because Kovna was considered the hero. I don't think that Gens was a hero in the traditional sense, but I think he is a modern day non-heroic hero. And one of these people for whom today, give you an idea, every day we listen to Governor Mario Cuomo, and he is just rising to the occasion. And he's somebody that many people disliked as the governor of New York. And a lot of decisions that he made, people aren't very happy about, not as it relates to the COVID situation, but just politics in general. But the circumstances now, he has risen to the status of being the ideal leader that you want. And in many ways, that was like what Gens was. Somebody who you could feel ambiguous about, but did some incredible things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I read that he had a chance to leave the ghetto and join his non-Jewish wife and child, and then he refused.
Yes, I read that also, that he had permission to leave the ghetto and stay with his wife and child.
Michal, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you. It was very exciting to do my humble part in this show. My question is, what was the theme that you wanted to say with the play? Like, what was the message, the main thing that you wanted to say to the people that watch it?
Well, I think the main theme is this incredible desire, or I won't even call it desire. I think it's intrinsic of the life force that people exhibited in mass in this one place. It's almost an ideal for us as to how we should behave. I always asked myself while I was writing this, what would I do? You know, what would I do under the circumstances? What type of person would I be? What would I be capable of? Would I be able to be a hero? Or would I be one of the people that were, you know, shot? And so to me, all of these people were heroic. And I admire them deeply. So many people do this every day and are unsung heroes, and especially today under the coronavirus, we are seeing everyday heroes doing incredible selfless things. And the fact that we have people who are willing to do that is, you know, what makes our society, makes a society important.
Okay, thank you. So you say like being brave, like doing the maximum you can as a human being.
Yes, do the best you can under any circumstances. And there are people who do more than their best. And we're waking up to that every day and seeing that. At 7 o'clock here in New York City, there's a ritual that is taking place where people just go out on the streets or in their balconies and they clap and they bang pans in gratitude for all of the doctors and nurses and all of the people, you know, in the hospitals, just being exposed to their own life, you know, of dying because they don't have all of the protective materials that they need or all of the equipment. And they are just showing up day after day, doing everything possible under very tenuous circumstances. And, you know, you feel showing that gratitude in mass every day and hearing the pots and pans clang and people clapping, you know, at 7 o'clock everywhere. It's just heartening that people not only become heroes, but we recognize them. And I wanted to do that in my play. I wanted to recognize the heroism. I didn't want to write a play about being a victim.
A play about what?
Being a victim. Did not want victimization to be the theme or the story. It was transcendence of the victimization.
Okay, thank you very much, Ira. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook Live. the live, it won't be live anymore, but it's recorded and it's on Facebook. So please share this. Yom Hashoa is through tomorrow. We even have the opportunity to watch it then, to share with your, you can also just watch some of it and then go to the questions and answers. It was really, really powerful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
all
much.
of the actors for joining us here in Zoom, and we'll just do if everybody can go to reactions and at the same time click on clap. I don't know if everyone will do it at the same time, but we'll try.
I look forward to meeting some of you someday. Thank
You
you
can just
again.
do like this.
Right.
Yes, too.
Looking forward to meeting you too, Ira. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a Lila Toro and a good afternoon in New York, and whatever time it is all over the world.
It's
Enjoy.
4:00 here.
Thank you again.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, CB. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be
Ira
safe.
Fuchs.
Bye. Nice working with
Be
everyone.
safe. Stay creative. Stay home. And remember those that went before us.
Bye.